meine Freunde, hallo. Hallo, meine Freunde, hallo. Hallo, meine Freunde, hallo, meine Freunde, hallo, meine Freunde, hallo. Hallo, meine Freunde. If you're wondering why I'm laughing at myself, it's because my A string on my ukulele is way out of tune when I try to press any of the frets. So if I play a C chord, this note is too sharp and it sounds real bad. You know how we do it here. It's just kind of like, we let the uncomfortable happen. Last week I had lots of cats, or 2 weeks ago I had lots of cats interrupting, and they probably will today because they're both here. Sorry about my Stitch With Me last week. I did record a whole Stitch With Me, this gorgeous new piece that I started, which I'll show you, and I did not have my microphone as an input. So I had these gorgeous stitchy sounds. My headphones were plugged into the microphone so I could hear what it was doing, and it didn't record any of that audio. So, rookie mistake, I guess. So, next time, I promise I'll make sure that the audio is in there, because I know that's enjoyable to some of you. So today, I have quite a bit to show. I have a finish, I have a new start, I have whips, I have 2 pieces of haul, and of course a teaching story, which I'll save till the end. So if you're only here for stitching content, that'll be at the end. So let me just jump into it. My finish, which I don't have a picture of, but I can show it to you because it's the finish. I've technically showed this to you before, but this is Black Mountains from, I think this one is ZephyrMood on Etsy. It is stitched on 14 count black Aida, and I stitched this 3 strands over 1. And I'm gonna kind of use this as a what is that? Michelle Bendy, she said, hey, talk about one of your finishes, and since I have a finish, I'll just talk about this one, and I'm gonna count it. So I started this one. This is kind of like my 3rd big-ish piece. I think there's about 8,000 stitches in it. And I had never stitched with 3 strands before. And when I started it, I was like, ooh, this coverage is really great. I started at the top, and I did substitute some of these colors. Like, I think the red I substituted, and it's a little dark for my taste. But I sort of started this as a learning piece. My first time on 3 strands. And in my first time on 14 count, from recent memory, I was always like I stitched on 18 count, 16 count, stuff like that, and I hadn't done 14 count. But I love the coverage of 3 over 1 on 14 count. So I started this in May, maybe? And I stitched the top half of it super fast. And then I got to the mountains and I just kind of like didn't really do it very much, because this is 2 colors of floss, black and dark blue, 823. And I lost steam on it. I put it away for a long time. I started other things. And then I took it back out because I was kind of losing momentum on another project. And so I took this back out. I took it out of the hoop and I stitched it in hand, which is really fun for me. I like stitching in hand. So I did, as you can see, I did this much. And so this is in a 823, and then I ran out of the floss, and this over here, this blue, is darker. And there's this straight line that you can see where the blues are different. So I had done this one with it facing this way, and then it was kind of uncomfortable to hold, so I rolled it this way, and I started doing it in rows this way by color. So yeah, I drug my feet on it for so long. I ran out of 823, 95 stitches before the thing was complete, and finally I finished it this week. I bought the floss and I was like, okay, let me finally just get this thing done. So I am pretty happy with the finished product. I kind of want to send this to someone to like put on some clothes, like put it on a jean jacket or something. It'd be kind of cool. I don't think I want it hanging up in my wall because it was kind of a learning piece, but I would like someone to appreciate it. So yeah, you want to see the back? Not bad. Yeah, so that's Black Mountains 3/1 on 14 count by ZephyrMood on Etsy. That's my finish. Should we do... I want to save my new start to last, so let me show you my whips. First whip... Oh wait, I need to move this a little bit. Forgive me. This is my first whip to show you. And this is fop, because my husband dressed up as a fop. And since you saw it last, I put in 305 stitches. Dismal, I know, but you'll see my new start and why I didn't get very much done on this. It's almost to the time where I'm going to have to move the Q-snap. I'm stitching this on 18 count Aida 2/1, and there are some blended threads in here. Quite a few, but it's black and white, so there's not very many threads. Not very many colors, I guess. This is currently at 36-ish% complete. It's like 35.8 or something. So yeah, I stitched this in parallelograms. And if you want a diagonal tutorial, I basically am copying Blitstitch on Flosstube. He has a really concise tutorial on how to stitch by the diagonal. This way. It's backwards. Michelle was totally right. It's harder said than done. Yeah, I'm excited to see more progress on this, but I was distracted with other things, as you will see right now. My second whip to show you is Go Away, Hello, Georgia. Georgia from StitchesLoversShop on Etsy. Yes. Last time you saw it, I had just hit 50%, and I think I was like just done with the sky and then had done a little bit of these mountains. So I have zoomed on this. Since you saw it, I have put in 3,823 stitches, and I'm currently at 85%. So this will probably be a finish if I'm keep going at this rate the next time I see you in 2 weeks. Do you want to know what I learned about Georgia? I have been listening to a podcast about the voting in Georgia this past year. And it is sort of how voters were mobilized in certain districts. And it just happens that they ended up voting for Democratic candidates. Specifically, it focuses on what Stacey Abrams did in 2018 and then in 2020. And I don't want to talk too much about that, but I had some shocking data that I heard from the podcast. And forgive me, my notebook is not here, and if I quote it wrong, I'll correct myself in the description. But in terms of diverse voters, so there are there's a big Black population, especially in Atlanta, but in other counties. Oh, I digress. There are 159 counties in Georgia, and that's the second most in the United States, behind Texas. So Georgia has a lot of counties, and it's very diverse. But one thing that was really crazy to me is that the percentage of Black and Latino voters was pretty high, an increase from 2016 to 2020 voting in the presidential election. But what shocked me was the Asian Pacific Islander population. They increased by 91% from 2016 to 2020. And, you don't really think about certain things like that. I'm from North Dakota, a state that is consistently Republican, and rural areas, lots of rural areas. And there's not a whole lot of diversity there. So you don't really consider that there's, how do I say this? Like, sometimes you don't think about populations that maybe voting is harder for them. For example, there was an activist who helped a man who had been living in Georgia for 40 years or so, and he's part of the Asian Pacific Islander population. And sorry, the cat is using the litter box. I hope you can't hear that. Anyway, they helped him vote because previously the ballot wasn't translated into his language, and he hadn't known how to vote or been helped with how to vote. So one thing that Stacey Abrams has done, and a lot of other people have done in Georgia, is to activate populations who have not voted in previous elections, and just making it available to them and helping them learn how to vote and learn how to, use their voice in Georgia. Which, he's so loud. Cat! Can you hear it? It's good. Anyway, so that's really crazy to think. And it's 2020, and we still, some people in our country are afraid to vote or don't vote because nobody has helped them vote, or, it's just an interesting podcast. So it's called Gaining Ground on Spotify, and it's 5 episodes long. So if I can put a link in, I'll link that to you if you're interested in learning about Georgia's voting history. So yeah. Back to cross stitch. This is stitched on 22 count Aida. It's sort of Aida. I keep saying Aida, but it was a big piece on Amazon. And I am stitching 1 strand of DMC over 1. 22 count. Expect to finish in 2 weeks. We'll see. Probably. Okay, and then my new start. I'm excited about this one. I already stitched a pattern from this shop. Here, let me say goodbye to Georgia. Bye, Georgia. Thanks for the long rant, Kaylee. This is what I started. And I have already stitched a sampler from this shop. This is Moroccan Sampler by CliffsideStitches on Etsy. I love their designs. They look so cool. And I was missing the linen, stitching on linen. This is a 36 count flax, I think, linen. And I'm stitching 2 over 2. So these motifs, man, these are so pretty. And what I like about CliffsideStitches is that they're very simple motifs, and they stitch up real quickly. Since I started it, I have put in 3,674 stitches, and I started it on Valentine's Day. So that's 10 days. That's a lot for me. And the first day I did this, I did like 1,000 stitches on it because I was so excited. Also, I noticed that, and you can maybe see this in my Stitch With Me, I use a very blunt tipped needle for this, and it just finds the hole so quickly. I just stick it in and it goes in the hole that I need it to. So it stitches really quickly. And yeah, I'm loving how it's turning out. I will probably stitch more. And since you've seen this, you probably, I don't know if you'll see this one very much. Where is it? Although maybe you will, because I'm on a pattern buying ban. So I don't have any progress on my Supersized USA this week. These 2 weeks. So that's Moroccan Sampler. 32 count, flax, 2/2. Yay. Okay, goodbye. So I know this is going to be a longer video than usual. I usually like to do them nice and quick, and then my Stitch With Me's are longer. But I have some haul to talk about. Firstly, I usually am a hoop stitcher, or I started as a hoop stitcher, and I bought the wooden ones, and then I found a Q-snap, which they're great. I like them for bigger projects. My FOP is on 11 by 11. I have an 11 by 17 that my Supersized USA is on. But I do like, and I also stitch in hand a lot. Georgia, I stitch in hand all the time. But the hoops, I like the hoop. I have a hoop stand, and I was having trouble with the tension in my hoop. Probably I bought crappy hoops. That's probably why. But I watch Shiloh, X-Stitch MD, and she uses this kind of hoop, the ones with rubber. And the cheapskate that I am, I just hopped on Amazon and I bought this set of 4. This must be like a 10-inch hoop. Whatever, 7. Watch me completely misquote inches and not know what they look like. And then this. So these, when I would see these in Michael's or Joann's, I would be like, those look old school. Hypocrite. These are really good. I saw somebody on Instagram tag Shiloh and say that brown marks showed up on her hoop, so I'm not sure. It's probably just the brand, but these were like $10 for 4, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. And I've been stitching on these with Moroccan Sampler, and I don't leave it in the hoop, but look at my hoop mark. Let me hold it upside down for you. Look at that hoop mark. I haven't stitched this like in 2 days, and the hoop mark is still there. So it holds it tight. I'm telling you, it's really tight. It's really good. So yeah, I recommend these, and I recommend finding just a cheap version on Amazon because they work really well. I haven't tried the smaller ones yet, but I'm sure they work very similarly to the large one. Okay, that's one piece of haul. And my second piece of haul is a kit that was sent to me for free. This is Stitchly, and I think I'm going to do a separate video for this to show like using the product. They reached out to me on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is legit, but they sent me $30 on PayPal, and I bought it on Amazon. They're an Irish company, designed in Ireland, and what I really liked about what they first said was that they want to create products that relieve anxiety, which is really cool. And it's meant for a beginner. And I think Carla Rolodex Stitcher, is that what she's called? I don't know. She got one of these as well. They said, we'll send you the money and you can just buy it on Amazon. And I bought it, and I still need to stitch with it. yeah, like I said, I'll do a separate video, but just so you know, this is what comes in the box. There's quite a few colors, and these are not DMC floss, but they coordinate with DMC colors. Like this is $37.99, and it looks really close to DMC, $37.99. 310 is black, $9.39. So they look pretty similar to DMC colors. Some of these blues, I think they are DMC. They're the same color, but not DMC floss brand. It comes with a cross stitch guide, which I kind of lost. I started using it, and I'll say this in my other video, but I need to really go through the directions and try it as if I was a beginner, so that I can give them a good review for the product. I'll link it below on Amazon too. But it comes with a guide, all these colors. It comes with 3 hoops. These are nice ones too. These are nice wood ones. I think they say it's beechwood. 5 pieces of this kind of Aida. Sorry, there's some colors on there. 5 pieces of this size. It has a scrap Aida, little tiny one. It has a stamped one. And I've always wanted to try one of these, even though I stitch with counted a lot of the times, but I always wanted to try this. It seems like it would be really easy to just follow what's on the Aida rather than following a pattern. So I'm excited about that one. I might just let my husband try it and see if that would be a good thing for beginners, because they start you on this. So I think I'm going to have him try it first. It comes with needle threaders. And these work really well. I was flossing the needle. I was flossing the needle. I was threading the needle with it, and it works really well. A snips. Ooh, are you ready for some ASMR? Because I deprived you before. Last week. Ooh, a little tiny hoop. That might be for the rainbow. I don't know. And then these needles, which the few times that I've run these through the fabric, I don't know. For beginners, they work great, but look at how giant this is. They say it's size 24, I think, but this is bigger than that, I think. And it's got a pretty sharp tip. So I'm sorry, I'm not doing it close up because look at how blurry it is. I'm using the other camera. I didn't want to use my phone, that would crap out on me again. But yeah, 2 needles. So I'm going to do a more in-depth video of this, reviewing it and trying it out and seeing the quality of the products. It seems really good, and especially since it's geared towards beginners, it seems like it would be a good thing for people to start with if they're interested in cross stitch or a hobby that would relieve anxiety. I would say that this, especially because they give you a stamped kit or a stamped piece to start, like, yeah, to relieve anxiety, and you don't even have to think about this, it's pretty good. And as we all know, starting small is nice. So that's Stitchly, and I will link the product below. I just got it on Amazon. So yeah, that's all the stitchy content, I believe. I would like to share a teaching story. I've been talking, so my voice feels kind of bad, but I might just power through. My teaching story. I wanted to share with you what it was like when the pandemic hit. It's coming up on a full year since it happened, and of course we all feel differently now than we did a year ago. At this time last year, at the end of February, it was like, it might not get that bad, but I had an eye appointment at the end of February, and I was talking to my doctor, and she said, oh, there was a school in the area that they had to completely disinfect everything in the school. And I was like, seems a little extreme. And of course I hadn't learned much about it. And then a couple weeks later, our district had shut down. So on the day that we learned that school would be shut down for 2 weeks, I had my choir class, which I teach elementary school music, and my choir class was 5th and 6th graders combined. And so I had a lot of kids interested that year. There was like 44 kids in my choir. And I was like feeling pretty shocked about the fact that we would probably be closed for 2 weeks at least from school, which was because I heard other school districts around me saying that they were closed for 2 weeks or more. And I was like, that's pretty weird. I feel really weird. It feels surreal. It feels like I'm living in a movie or something. And so I did this exercise with my choir, and I cut out little sheets of paper and I had them write what was on their mind, because it was on my mind. I was like stressed and oh, we're going to close for 2 weeks. And some kids were like, it's cold in here. I don't want to sing today. I want the rain to stop. Like, it was not on their minds, which, I mean, was a good lesson for me to really read my students and ask them what's on their mind, because the assumption was wrong. I thought that they were as stressed about it as I was, and they weren't. They were just like, I'm cold. I want people to be quiet. It was just like random things that were normal to them. And then in my choir class, we got the email that we would be closed for 2 weeks, and it was kind of shocking. I live in Southern California, and it was raining that whole week, and it was raining, and they had announced it right at the end of Friday, the 13th of March, and I was handing out flyers. I was like, we're closed for 2 weeks. Tell your parents. We only know this much. And it was very stressful. It was a strange time. Also, we had to cancel our musical practice last minute, and we were going to do the musical Mary Poppins, and right when we closed, the next week we were going to open. We were going to perform it for the first time. We were going to perform in front of the school. So it was so sad to tell the kids, we have to postpone. We're not going to perform next week. And they were really sad, of course. And we were working so hard on that one, on Mary Poppins. I was doing the musical at my other school as well, but we had a couple weeks, and so we weren't as far into the rehearsal process. And so Mary Poppins, the kids were this close to performance, and they, especially at that school, I had more time with them, and I taught them about being on stage and reacting in character. And keep in mind, this is like 3rd graders through 8th graders, so the level of stagecraft is not as high as like what I was teaching them was what I learned in college, but they were catching up on it. They were picking up, and they were moving their bodies on stage so with such awareness. I was like so proud of them, and I'm so sad that they didn't get to perform. But it was a very shocking time to all of a sudden say, hey, school is canceled for 2 weeks. And I can tell, especially after this year, that, you know, it's been a really tough year for children. And they don't understand. And it's hard to talk about things with them because some things they do understand, and they pick up on things. They're watching us so much. But then, in the grand scheme of things, in the world, I feel like it's, when you're a child, it's hard to conceptualize that. And I've had thoughts this week about like, oh, I didn't know anything when I was a kid. I didn't learn very well. In the sense, I have some mournful feelings about my past and what I didn't know and what I still don't know. And of course, I'm not going to get into too many things like that on this channel because it's about cross stitch, but hopefully you can connect to my students and me and look back on a time where it was just completely surreal. It was not normal at all. And yeah, this year has been a crazy year of growing, and I got back into stitching during the pandemic, so it's led to a lot. There's lots to be thankful for, lots to reflect on, lots to mourn, and lots to look forward to. So yeah, did I wrap that up pretty well? That's my teaching story. It's not the happiest like my one 2 weeks ago, but hopefully you could reflect on it with me and just think about what it used to be like. So I think that's everything. Let me just check my... Oh, plans. I have a couple plans. Because I'll probably finish Georgia, I have 2 states in mind to start next. And the reason is because, sort of mini life update here, we might be moving this summer. So I'm going to start 2 of the states that we might move to. Long story short, there's 3 different programs that my husband is auditioning for, and we don't know yet where he's going to get in. So I'll probably start Indiana, which is going to end up on 28 count, 1/1. And to sort of balance that out, I'm going to start, I think, as well, Florida, which is going to be on 11 count. So 1 on big fabric, 1 on little fabric. And yeah, I'm excited for you to see that next time, if I've started them by next time. I'm not a huge planner, but I have a sort of idea of where I want to go. Excuse me. And with that, follow me on Instagram at Kaylee Crossstitch. Subscribe here if you feel like it, if you want to see more. Usually I upload shorter videos. This one is a little bit longer. I've been talking a lot. So I think it's time. Again, follow me on Instagram, like, subscribe, comment, all those fun things. I'll see you then next time. You say my floss tube is over, I have nothing more today. Why so sad? Remember we made an arrangement. Oh gosh, that chord sucks. I upload every Wednesday. You'll be back soon, you see. You remember how to get to me. Flosstube and Instagram. Subscribe and follow to see my stitchy progress in the stitchy land. Da, 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 see you next time.